Welcome to the Truth Unveiled. Starting right on time. Amazing how that ever came about. That's so great. Okay, still some of us are coming in. Welcome everyone. Great to join. Like in this very specific day. The 14th? No, the 15th of December already. Like a week before Christmas. 10 days exactly. 10 days before Christmas. And, well, what does that have to do with today? Well, today we're actually taking a look at the idea of prayer and of aloneness, taking time for yourself to be with yourself. And, yeah, there's a lot to share about that, or to see what the benefits are of doing so. And that's why we use the text and the tape. Joel is talking about prayer and about aloneness at the same time. So we use that in say, the next, 90 minutes that we're together. So we start, of course, first with a meditation. And this meditation is from realization of oneness. Welcome in. Welcome, everyone. And I probably said the wrong title. Conscious oneness. No, I lost it. I have no idea where I got this from, but it's a great prayer. You can read it in the meditation. I put it down. I copied it. But since I read many things, that I don't know anymore where I got it from. And it doesn't matter. So it's like coming from the same source as where we're connecting with and where you are a whole part of. And so you will recognize it when you hear it. Let's start with that first, because it is so great to be still for a moment and to really come here, to become present, to release some ideas or concerns before we do anything. It's like that's in fact the gift that we give each other. And so let's spend some time in stillness and aloneness, even though we appear to be in a group here. Infinity and immortality are made manifest in the consciousness of the individual. And the name of this divine consciousness, which is our individual consciousness, is I. You must understand that you are not to direct this I, enlighten it, plead with it, or try to be a master of it, but that you are to submit and yield yourself servant to the I of your own being. So that your prayer is that I fulfill itself as your individual experience, that I be the grace which is your sufficiency, and then let this I, which is your true selfhood, govern your life in its own way. When you then go into prayer and meditation, there must be no preconceived idea as to what you want or how you wish your prayer to be answered. There must be a complete yielding as you daily realize, not my will, but thine be done. Do not go to God with your thoughts, and do not try to have God fulfill your way, because you will fail. You must go to God, the divine consciousness, as your own being, the very I which you are, with this prayer. Reveal to me thy way, thy will, thy thought, and this then will be my way, my will, and my thought. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining in the meditation. And so, yes, the aloneness and prayer. So these parts is the thing that is coming to us today. It's like the aloneness and prayer. So they're combined in a certain sense. The aloneness can be like, yeah, okay, so I'm always by myself. So I live by myself. I do all things with myself. Like, no, this is not what aloneness is. Or I live with a partner, and sometimes I take time off, and then I'm by myself. Or who knows what. It's like, no, that's not aloneness. So aloneness is really like the idea of you taking a break. You could say taking a break from your concerns, from what you think is going on, from what you think you should do, and sinking into a deeper silence in yourself, where you sit with that or be with that. You could say like as an almost like a meditation, but having some quality time with yourself. That's basically what that comes down to. And in whatever way that reveals itself, that's not defined or anything, but it's a time that you dedicate to be still with yourself and not let the world distract you in that sense. So the prayer part is in fact interesting, the way that Joel described it or gave it to us in the meditation. So it's like the I reveals itself as, but how does this I reveal itself? We talk about this, or we read this, and you read it here, or you listen to it in the meditation, but how does it actually work? How does the I, say, show its will to me? How do I know when it's the will of God? How do I know when it's the I that does the work, you could say? Now, this is specifically very, say, helpful if you see that the manifestation of I is always present, is always now. Has not anything to do with a future accomplishment or anything. And there's also the solution, you could say, in seeing it at work. If I have an idea about how to deal with a certain situation, then I see also the solutions that are connected to it by images or by ideas that I get. That's the easy way. Like there's something that will present itself as what you think is your solution. Now, if you follow that, you in fact are ignoring something. You deal with it. You grew up with doing it that way. Like, here's a problem, and there's the solution. Well, this could be the solution. Let's give it a try. That's what you would say to yourself as a human being. It's like, this is my situation. Now I have to deal with it. Well, I'll calculate and compare to past experiences and make a little plan and work it out and see, like, oh, if I do this and this and this, then the steps to the solution will be there. Now, here, in fact, Joel says, no, stop, wait. Don't do that. Don't do that the way that you're used to. Now, if you want the I to be present in your experience, on your daily life experience, it's not some spiritual, in that sense, not some kind of spiritual thing that has nothing to do with where you find yourself. No, this is you being present in the moment, giving yourself the opportunity to have something else be revealed to you. Now, how can something be revealed to you if you already have an idea about it? It's impossible. It's not going to happen. So, in other words, Joel asks you here to step back and let the I reveal something to you. Now, how do I recognize that? That would be the greatest discovery, right? How do I recognize that? Do I recognize that in the form where it's coming to me, whether that's desirable or not for me? No. Does it have to do with that I feel better about myself? No, not necessarily. You know, like all these options that you have in mind and how that would be, how you could check it if it worked or not. How would you measure that? How would you do that? This is really what is in fact given to you in this meditation that we do. Now, the only thing which can confirm it to you that you're on the right track, so to speak, that you gave space for the I to manifest itself, to have it be revealed to you, is in fact that you discover that in this whole process, in this whole moment where you find yourself, your peace was not disturbed. You stayed in your peace. Now, I don't know how that's for you, but speaking from my own experience, when I try to solve something, there's always a tension connected to it. There's a fear that it might fail, and there's a doubt that it will work. And like this, so there's always different feelings connected to it that in fact, with all the steps that you take, put you in all kinds of directions in your mind. Like, well, this can happen, it can look like that, and I'm concerned about, well, if it's good for the neighbors or if it's good for my whatever family or who knows this. Like there's a concern connected to it immediately. When you do something by yourself, there are a couple of red flags that are popping up. Well, not certain, but what you're going to do? I don't know. I just have to do it. Okay, well, then you do it. And if you want it to be revealed to you, that's not the way to do it. Now, when it's going to be revealed to you, you can stay in your peace, because it's in fact not your concern how it's going to look, what the eventual outcome is, and what it means or what it will be for others concerned in the process. Like it's literally not your concern, because you step back and let it be revealed to you. Now this is an incredible secret or key, you could say. It's a key to a treasure that is in front of you continuously, without exception, in every situation. Like every situation. Because we already know that we make a lot of decisions. Many decisions during the day, and you don't know. You don't know what to choose. You have no idea about the outcome or what's good for you in this present moment. You have no idea what would be in the highest interest of all aspects of creation. You wouldn't know how it would affect everyone in its highest benefit, you could say. You wouldn't know what to choose or how to work that out. Because you don't have to do that. That's why. Like you don't have to figure it out what would be the best for everyone. Now here, let the I reveal itself in this present moment, in any situation. I step back, and here it is. It's like, wow, it's so quick, it's so easy, it's effortless. Now I don't know about you, but the plans that I made up for myself were not effortless. I felt a lot of strain. I was concerned with it. I had sleepless nights about it. I didn't really know how to work it out and where to get the energy from to actually make it work. That was an immense lot of work. Now here is, again, in this situation, now Spirit reveals itself, or the I reveals itself in the moment, taking care of it for me. I don't have to do anything. I only have to decide to step back out of it and let it be revealed to me. Thy way, thy will, thy thoughts, thy everything. This is what's being offered. That is the meditation that we just did. It's like that is possible in every moment. How do I remember that? Here we come to the training that we're in. This is practicing the presence. You will have to come back to presence, to this moment, at least to the awareness of I by my own self can do nothing, so I also don't know what's the best for me. There's someone who knows. I might as well let this someone reveal it to me, because I've no clue what's the best for everyone involved in any situation. When I start to trust that's the case, and when I start to trust the I that is revealing everything to me, it becomes easy for me. I see it confirmed. Now, the only thing that happens is that I don't need to be concerned about how anything is working out. The whole plan changed, you could say. There was already a plan, and I was just I just came to interrupt my plan of the plan continuously with my plans. And it didn't look right, and it didn't work out, and it failed, and it was horrible, and it was painful, and still there was no solution. It was hopeless. It was depressing. It was putting me into anxiety. Like on and on and on and on. You have sufficient experience. I know that for sure. Like each of us has sufficient experience to come to the conclusion that your plan, however great it looked in the beginning, did not work out. You're not able to save yourself. You're not able to save the situations that you're in, manipulating it in the form that you would like it. It didn't work. So give up. So give up. Why would you want to hold on to that idea? There is a solution, and there's a perfect plan, and it's working. It is working. When I literally will not see it when I trust my own ideas in it. I simply can't see it. I can say 100 times, reveal it to me. If I hold on to my plan, I'm not going to see it. So that's really what Joel is offering here in this meditation, but also in fact in the rest that we're going to listen to and look at, because this is the main crux of living a life in presence and in living the mystical life, you could say. This is the key to it. So I'm really happy that Joel brought this up in our sequence here, and that we, take a look at that. So aloneness, our greatest asset. Okay. Meditate with the realization that since I and the Father are one, and all that the Father has is mine, that I can go to the kingdom of God within me and draw it forth. Yeah, what does Joel mean by that? Meditate with the realization that I and the Father are one. We love that idea. We love to say that, like I and my Father are one. And that all that the Father has is mine. Well, that feels very secure and safe, which is really true, of course. Yes, I can go to the kingdom within me and draw it forth. But when can I draw it forth? When can I go to the kingdom? When can I do that? If I'm open, if I'm willing to let my ideas about my solution and my salvation go, if I'm willing to give up my plan about what I think should be the best, like, yes, I and my Father are one. All that the Father has is mine. So I literally have nothing to be concerned about it. Now here's the self-check. Are you concerned about anything? Are you in anxiety? Are you in pain? Are you not sure? Are you doubting? All these things. Yes, you are? Okay, so then then you have to give that up first in order to come to the acceptance of the idea that I and my Father are one, and all that the Father has is mine. Now I end up in the kingdom by itself. By just giving up my concerns, I enter into the kingdom. Don't forget what is at stake here. Don't forget what is at stake here. When I let go of these ideas and these concerns and fears, and let go of my plan and let it be replaced by the plan of God, you could say, you can also come into the kingdom, literally, like you choose heaven when you do so. You choose peace when you do so. And when you pick up your plan again, you find yourself in hell. Is that what hell is? Yes. Is that this world as you see it? Yes. That is hell. Look around. It is a hellhole. It is a hellhole. It is what hell is. It is not what heaven is. Can heaven come to earth? Well, heaven and earth are not apart. And who is the link between heaven and earth? That is you. As individual consciousness, as individual accepting this, what is given for yourself in this moment, and let things be revealed to you, you start to see a different world. You start to see a world where only the connection and the connectedness is being confirmed and celebrated, you could say. It's like that happens immediately. You let go of your ideas, your concerns, all the things, your plan, and immediately there's sufficient space in your consciousness for a whole different experience. You still stand with your feet on planet Earth, but that is what is happening. You start to smile more, you start to laugh more, you start to be, basically, you start to not project anything on your brother. So you take full responsibility by standing here and stepping back, realizing the choice you have, not to let your plan work, but the plan of God, that is in fact of sufficiency for all involved, is what makes this to a heaven experience. So this is incredible responsibility, and you don't realize that as a human being. You don't realize that what is actually in your hand, to your decision. So the one decision you make is, let it be revealed to me. Spirit, reveal this to me. Now let the eye step forward here. I want to see, I want to witness how that would be for me, how that would be. Like, I know my ideas. I'm sick and tired of my ideas. I don't even want to consider them anymore. And that's not because I'm depressed. No, that's because I see that they're futile. They have no meaning and they will not bring me anywhere, because they're based on past ideas, on images that I've made and things I chased. I was chasing for a while. But now I give up. I stand still in my aloneness. I come to the conclusions like, I want God's plan. I want that, what's already mine, to be revealed to me. I don't want to chase any goals in that sense. Like, I just want to blend into the one goal. And that's reaching truth here, right now, as an heaven on earth experience for myself and for everyone involved. And all that I mean when I say I have hidden manna is that I have access to infinity within me, and that I have to learn to become completely independent of groups or someone else's opinions or someone else's demonstration, and ultimately I must learn to have those moments of aloneness. Now the moments of aloneness constitute our greatest asset. Now, what is the first thing that happens? What is the first thing that when you say, quiet down in your aloneness, like you're being confronted with your own ideas, big time. So first, with your ideas, with your temptation to not do what you're doing. For instance, not letting go of your ideas. Now you get distracted and you say like, well, I got to do this first. Oh, no, I can't wait. I have to work in the garden. I cannot take time to sit here still. Or I have to do this. Or I have to see that one. So your mind is in fact generating ideas so that you don't have to spend time in your aloneness. Because your mind becomes totally useless in that sense as a generator of ideas. It becomes useless as a guide and as a navigator, or as a commander, or as a considerator. Like, your mind becomes useless. You don't need your thoughts for your navigation, for your guidance, for situations to come to you that actually benefit you. You don't need your mind for that. Not in terms of as an idea generator. So your mind needs to be open, sure. So it's like your consciousness needs to be open to receive what is already there. Now, if I let myself be distracted, I cannot really get to that. There's not enough space for that to occur. It's disrupted. It is foggy. It's not purified, you could say. So the aloneness is then a good one, because it's like that's why your greatest asset is, if you really get it together to be still with yourself and allow something else to occur. Like if you enter into that with a quiet mind, with no distraction in that sense, not validating any thoughts or engaging with any thought, but really coming into the stillness of yourself, then you really start to love this alone time, because it's like a creative moment inside yourself where you're just going to be very curious how everything is evolving. It becomes like a great adventure. You're just in one big expectancy. That's the word. It's like it's an expectancy that starts to grow in you, that literally generates the curiosity for the next born moment, because that is in fact what is occurring. It's like creation on the spot. It doesn't go anywhere in terms of in the world or in this. No, it is just manifesting itself in this moment. So that's really beautiful. So it's like all that I mean when I say I have hidden manna, that I have access to infinity within me. Can you imagine? No, you cannot imagine that, but it is true. And that I have to learn to become completely independent of groups, opinions and all this. It's like, well, you come so much independent of that you start to recognize that there literally is nothing outside of you. So this is where it blends in, where your aloneness becomes your quality time. There's nothing outside of you that can add anything to you, because you have discovered your hidden manna. This hidden manna is within you. This infinity is within you. This heaven is within you. Now you become that. By your experience, you become it. So you can say, like, my moments of aloneness constitute my greatest asset. I'm actually very much like investing in to give space to my my quality, my absolute value. And there's no way to spend your time more natural, in fact. All right, now, if God is understood as omniscience, doesn't that immediately stop all attempts to tell God, ask God, desire of God, or any way impart our thought to God? And just sitting down to meditate and bring to conscious remembrance the statement, God is omniscience, must immediately cut off of its own accord thought. Yeah, and well, the thoughts might not even stop, but that doesn't matter. But surely the thing that happens is your validation or engagement with the thought stops. It's like, I don't need any of that. Wow, look at this. Like, this moment brings me into an experience of infinity. What do these thoughts mean? Well, they float around. What do I need to do with them? Nothing. What do I need to do with my thoughts anyway? Nothing. I don't need to do anything with them. I don't have to follow up on them. I don't have to react to them. I don't need to validate them. I don't need to identify with them. Now imagine that you have a day in which you don't do that. Can you imagine how much energy you have, say, that stays with you instead of flows away into all the considerations, concerns and tension, or muscle tension even? Like, it's a physical experience to be afraid. It's a physical experience that literally is in great demand on your body. And so it is with all the human aspects of concerns, doubt, you name it. being overthinking, being very active in trying to figure it out, like all this, because your mind can't stop. If you engage with it, it certainly will run like crazy. And you know this. I don't have to tell you that. But now imagine a day not doing that, but just letting Spirit reveal it to you. It's like, oh my God, it's like, it's effortless, and it's working perfectly. Wow, the only one in the way. Who was that? That was me. I was in the way. I had such great ideas, and I tried to work it out. I put so much effort in it, and I had so much trust in my efforts. And what did it bring me? Well, it brought me to this place. I recognize it is of no value, and I'm not going to use it any longer. So this is what Joel means. Like when you come into an experience of connection, then you see that your thoughts are absolutely meaningless. You don't have to do anything with them in order to function and to be. Now here is my sustenance. Here is everything that I was looking for. It is in this aloneness that is happening. Here is my hidden manna. Here is my infinity, where I literally move in, have my being in. It's only when you take unto yourself the word omnipotence that you can say. So we're talking about omnipotence here. If it is only when you take unto yourself the word omnipotence, like you want that to be revealed to you, when that is revealed to you, you can say, oh, astrology, heredity, hypnosis, they become nothingness. But remember, they only become nothingness in the presence of your realization of omnipotence. Because in the absence of that conscious realization, you are subconsciously living in a world of two powers. Now this is coming nicely together now. So we have the omnipotence and the omniscience. So the omniscience was the idea like God is all-knowing. He already knows before you ask. Like there's nothing you have to add to that. Now you have to see that. And God's omniscience works perfectly. But you still have a doubt because you come up with your own ideas. Now, in your revelation, in receiving the revelation of that is not the case, that God is literally all-knowing. And so are you in your experience of God's omnipotence. Like you enter into the realm of knowing. Everything makes perfect sense. You have no question or doubt about any aspect of that. When that happens, you know how to look at your thoughts, at the thoughts that are running around in your brain. You don't have to do anything with it. Now here the same Joel says with omnipotence. If God is all-powerful, you could say, what does heredity have to do with anything? What does astrology has to do, as if there's like magical powers working on me? Well, there's only one power. Now what? So only in the realm of duality, in the realm of fear, of pain, and of accidents, and there's fate. That's a good word too. Like only in that is say present, and which is a world of duality, which has nothing to do with reality. Now I can bounce around in that for a long time. So when I ask for omnipotence to be revealed to me, I want to know what this one force is that is literally within me, and that in fact is every power that there is. It's like absolute power. Now what is that? I want that to be revealed to you, to me. I want it to be revealed to me. I say that to myself, because there is only one of us experiencing that. It's your individual experience. It needs to be revealed to you. It doesn't matter if it was revealed to Joel. It doesn't matter if it was revealed to whoever. Now this is about you, and it has to be revealed to you. Now you, whenever you're ready, you ask for it. Show me what that means. I have no clue what that is. I have the faintest imagination about it. I have no idea. Now it can be revealed to me. When that is revealed to me, I have to laugh at heredity. I have to laugh at astrology. I have to laugh about all these things that have nothing to do with reality. So this is just incredible. Like the offering are just expanding, expanding. The more you start to hear it, it expands, and it becomes just totally amazing. Now here, just to give you some practical, I just used this in a short conversation I had with someone. It's like I use this as an example. Now, you don't have to change your life in order to experience this. You just do all the things that you used to. You just go along in your day, not changing anything. The only thing that you allow now is that instead of you determining anything or making the choices, now you let the I reveal everything to you. That means that I normally go to my coffee cafe in the morning, grab a cappuccino or whatever. I can still have the cappuccino. That doesn't matter. I don't have to change into anything else. But when I'm sitting there, I realize this, like whoever is entering into this place is in my highest interest. He's not just a street guy walking in to grab a coffee, blah, 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 where I already have an idea about, well, he must be this kind of guy and he probably did this too and blah, 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 blah. Like your mind does generate ideas about anyone that you meet. Now here, this guy that is walking in is actually, say, not by your image as you see it, but in truth, he is your savior. So he is your good old friend. Now you open your mind up, in fact, for a new experience. Now what is happening? Like your love is literally spreading all through the room. You're extending your love to everyone. This one is walking up to you and gives you a smile and saying, "Hi, how are you doing?" So in other words, there's something else happening than you had before because you stayed with your judgment. You saw him and you had an idea about him and it wasn't good. It simply wasn't good. So, or it was something else, like it was good or not. Like even that doesn't matter. But you were not open to actually see whoever is coming in. And as the one, in being there in your highest interest, he literally has something to offer you, like it's a gift you give to each other. And not that you have to talk to anyone, no, you let the I reveal itself to you in whatever needs to occur here. But there's no coincidence in any of it. And the whole setup is just for you to, in fact, eat your hidden manna. To let that come to you, to let it be revealed to you. Everything looks different. And this works in everything you do during the whole day, as long as you're not determining, thinking that you know what the situation is for, what you are doing there, all of this. You let it go, you let the I reveal itself to you in all situations. That is staying right here. That's staying present. That's in fact your enlightenment. You could say, this is your Zen mastership. You stay right here, not moving an inch. No, let the I reveal itself. Nothing is what it ever looked like. Nothing is what you think it is for. It is all different and you have no idea what it is. You're going to discover it and share that with your brother. So this is in fact the lesson to be learned in every situation. So Joel shares this with his specific terms: omniscience, the all-knowing God. Nothing to add to it. Like your thoughts are not going to add anything to that. Omnipotence. It is not by your power that you know what to do and how that's supposed to look. No, it's all going to be revealed to you. All right, so we're going to listen to Joel finally then. So we have like 25 minutes of Joel, the first 25 minutes of the tape, and
good morning.
Good morning.
Religious prayer, and I speak of religion from the church standpoint of religion, is, dear God, do this for me. Bring this to me. Or to my children. Or to my allies. Or to our troops. It is always the attempt to channel God's grace to me or to mine in some way or other, and to seek to have God fulfill some desire of mine, some wish, or it might be a very noble one, might be a very noble one. Right now there are groups all over the world praying that Hong Kong have more water. That's a very noble wish. But it illustrates the point that we're trying to channel God's good somewhere, and in the last analysis we're trying to get it to do our will, because it is our good will that Hong Kong have more water. It is our good will that the satellite countries be freed. That's a good will. It's a good motive. But we are seeking God's help to have our good motive fulfilled. Now this, of course, is useless. It has been so for 40 centuries. Then came the metaphysical age, and the very same mistake was followed. When you give a treatment, you give a treatment to Mrs. Jones or Brown or Smith. If you're working on a business problem, it is always that your patient come out successfully, that his will be done. And the most freeing experience in my entire life came when I realized that this is not prayer at all. This is just the remnants of a form of ancient paganism and superstition. Probably somewhere in ancient days there wasn't enough rain in some community, and so everybody prayed for rain. Or in another community, the run of fish was insufficient, and so we prayed for more fish. Not much concerned, of course, how the fish would feel about it. And so it has been that all through the ages, the subject of prayer has made, well, no progress at all until the 19th century when metaphysical prayer came in, and then the progress was more in the nature of changing the form of prayer rather than the object of prayer. The object remained the same. Only instead of petition, begging, sacrificing, we affirmed and denied. But the goal was the same, that I be made healthy, that my business prosper, that my motives be filled, my wishes be filled, and always the belief has been that as long as our desire was a good desire, that made the prayer all right. And you see, in that connection, a good desire is as useless as a bad desire, because the basic motive remains the same. "O God, do thou mine will." It's a good will, God. Oh, I only want to bless. But it's my will. Now, the entire subject of prayer must be investigated by a serious seeker of truth, because while it is true that the Master has been clearer than perhaps any other spiritual revelator on the subject of prayer, in that he certainly makes it clear that you're not to take thought for your life, what you shall eat or what you shall drink, that you're not to seek God's help in that direction, and also that you're not to spend your time praying for your friends, but that you will become children of God by praying for your enemies. And he does make it clear that if you have aught against any man, there's no use going to the altar to pray at all while you are holding anybody in condemnation. First get up, make peace with your brother, then return to the altar and offer your gift. And a strange part of that that's been overlooked so often is about that offer your gift, because prayer has always been thought of as getting. And here he would indicate that going to the altar means giving. What gift? Well, that's one of the facets of prayer that each one has to work out. If I am going to the altar to pray, and I must carry a gift, what is the nature of that gift? And it will differ. 100 different people may find 20 or 30 different answers to what they must give, because probably each one of us is holding on to something different than the other one is holding on to, but we're all holding on to something. We may be holding on to forgiveness. We may be holding back from the free ability to pray for our enemies. Actually, we may be doing the unforgivable. We may be very kind and generous to our friends and our families, and we may be showing very little or no concern for our neighbors on the other side of the track. We may be diligently saving to send our children to college, and thinking not one single mite of somebody else's child who also would like to be in college and cannot. In other words, each one of us in some way or other is withholding a spiritual gift from this world. Therefore, each one of us must determine for himself or herself what is it that I have to give that I am not giving, because the answer to prayer really is the bread coming back on the water that I have already cast upon the water. Again, how seldom do we think of what the effect may be on others if our prayers were answered? In business, what effect this answered prayer would be on our competitor. In government, what effect would this answered prayer have on the peoples of other nations? In personal prayer, what effect on some other member of my family? You see, prayer as it is known, religiously or metaphysically, is incorrect. We will have to empty ourselves of our former concepts of prayer. Because can we not admit that too few of our prayers have been answered? Wouldn't that be a unanimous thing with all of us here, that too many of my prayers remain unanswered for some unknown reason? And this alone would indicate not that there is something wrong with God. There must be something wrong with my concept of prayer, with my idea of reaching God. Therefore, the correction has to be made within me. Very often I get letters saying, oh, I'm sure the fault isn't with the infinite way, it must be with me. But the implication is, of course, that the infinite way must in some way be responsible, or I would be having this because I have asked you for help and I haven't gotten it, at least not in accord with the way I think it should have come. But honesty must compel us all to admit that whether or not there is something wrong with Christianity or with the infinite way, that does not absolve us from finding out what is wrong within me. Because even if Christianity didn't work, and even if the infinite way didn't work, that still leaves me with the responsibility of finding that which will bring me into attunement with my good. Now, I have used as an illustration Emerson's statement that there is one mind common to all men, and that every man is an inlet to it and an outlet for it. And supposing we were to accept that, because I will tell you to begin with that 10 years before I ever knew that Emerson made such a statement, that was the basis of my work, that there is an infinite divine consciousness which my individual consciousness is the outlet for, and must therefore be the inlet to. Not in those words. I think I saw it really as somewhat of a funnel going out from the back of my head. And by my receptivity, I could reach back into the infinite and draw forth the wisdom of all the ages in whatever my activity must be. If it is a healing wisdom, I can reach back into the infinite and draw forth healing consciousness. If it is spiritual wisdom of another sort, I can reach back into the infinite and draw forth its wisdom. And if I were an artist or a pianist or a novelist, I know that I could reach back into that infinite and draw forth infinitely. Therefore, probably in our infinite way work, the first realization that every student should have is that their individual consciousness is one with the divine, the infinite, the omniscient, the omnipotent, the omnipresent, and that you do not go to holy mountains for it. You don't even go to holy teachers or holy books for it. The holy teachers or the holy books are really sign pointers, road maps, because all they can do is reveal truth. But when they have revealed truth, the truth that they have revealed is that you and your Father are one, and all that the Father hath is yours. And for a while, I can be a mediator. I can bridge over some years in which you are learning to make contact with that infinite source and help you to your goals. But in the end, if I go not away, the Comforter will not come to you. And in the end, all you will say is, my practitioner isn't here, or my teacher isn't here, and I'm lost, and I'm going to look for another one. Now, the first step in the Infinite Way students' search for an understanding of prayer must be not to accept my word for this, but to experiment with this, meditate with this, with the realization that since I and the Father are one and all that the Father hath is mine, that I can go to the kingdom of God within me and draw it forth. This must, above all things, be our first step and stage in trying to get away from old-fashioned religious prayer and away from metaphysical prayer. Come to the awareness that the first necessity is receptivity. Your and my individual receptivity to this fountain that is within us that bubbles up into life eternal. All that the Master means when he says, I have meat the world knows not of, all that I mean when I say I have a hidden manna, is that I have access to infinity within me. And that I have to learn to become completely independent of groups or someone else's opinion or someone else's demonstration. And ultimately I must learn to have those moments of aloneness. Now the moments of aloneness constitute our greatest asset. I believe in groups because I usually to be found in the midst of a group. I encourage groups as long as the groups are intent on seeking the kingdom of God and not discussing truth or gossiping. But that does not do away with the periods of aloneness, because sometimes in coming together like this, a word falls here on receptive ears, and we can carry it away into our aloneness, and it might act as a springboard for us. Or sometime being in the company of someone who may today be on a level of consciousness higher than my own and lift me to theirs, then I can go away into my period of aloneness and be greatly benefited because I'm at a higher level of attitude and altitude than I was before. But let no one believe that the groups or the classes or the study of the books or the study of the tapes does away with the periods of absolute aloneness when I must find my aloneness with God. Very often I find a wonderful experience in meditating with Emma, sometimes with Daisy and some of our other students when they're around. But this does not free me from the hours that I must have in my aloneness when I want to come face to face with God, because it is in those moments of aloneness that I learn the folly of so much that we have heretofore learned and that must now be unlearned. So that I would say to the infinite way seeker, make prayer your very first great search. Well, no, that isn't 100% right, is it? Because, first of all, we must know something of the nature of God. Now, I would say, first of all, comes knowing somewhat the nature of God. Now, since this constitutes most of the teaching of the infinite way, this nature of God, because it has been the world's ignorance of God that has prevented it from learning how to pray, thinking of God as a Santa Claus God, thinking of God as something that can give you something, thinking of God as something that can meet your desires or fulfill your wishes. As a matter of fact, believing that God is a God of this world. All of that separates us. So perhaps the first subject must be an understanding of the nature of God as it is revealed in this message. Then, the nature of prayer. All right, now, if God is understood as omniscience, doesn't that immediately stop all attempts to tell God, ask God, desire of God, or in any way impart our thought to God? And just sitting down to meditate and bringing to conscious remembrance the statement God is omniscience must immediately cut off of its own accord thought. You can't stop thinking. But sometimes when you think of the word omniscience in your meditation, it has to stop your thinking. It has to pull you up short and say, what was I about to do? And then you settle down and say, God, forgive me. I was just about to talk to you, enlighten you, try to influence you, gain your goodwill. And now I stop. Yes, but now that I've stopped trying to reach God, what's the next step? Well, fortunately, there is another good word, omnipotence. God is all power. Aha! I do not have to seek the power of God, because there are no other powers operating. If there were negative powers, material powers, mental powers, I would certainly need the power of God to have something done about it. But in the realization of omnipotence, I can rest in the Word. This goes back, you see, to the Hebrew prophet. The enemy is twice as strong as we are, or 4 times. But the Hebrew prophet says they have only the arm of flesh. We have omnipotence. In other words, we have the only power there is, and their power is none. So rest. And they rested in his word, and the enemy destroyed itself. Now, it is true that material power is power and mental power is power on the third dimension of life. But is it true in the presence of realized omnipotence? And the answer is no, because anyone who has ever been instrumental in the healing of anything, I don't care how minor it might be, knows afterward that they did not exert any power. That what they did was rest in the assurance of non-power. Anyone who has studied these writings for any length of time must know that we have no influence with God, that we have no power over sin and disease and death, that God never gave any one individual power over another individual, for good any more than for evil. Therefore, when you say the word omnipotence, you are freeing yourself from all of the evil human influences, the third dimensional realm. You may not believe it, but if you could read my mail, you'd understand it, that unconsciously many people are suffering from the belief of astrology without even knowing what astrology is, because it occupies such a part in human belief that it's operating in human consciousness. And it is only when you can take unto yourself the word omnipotence that you can say, oh, astrology, heredity, hypnotism, they become nothingness. But remember, they only become nothingness in the presence of your realization of omnipotence, because in the absence of that conscious realization, you are subconsciously living in a world of two powers. You can't help it. No matter how much reading you're doing, no matter how many tapes you're hearing, you are unconsciously or subconsciously accepting two powers in this world. And it is only when you, in your meditation, consciously realize omniscience and omnipotence that you really can rest from mentalizing, from taking thought for your life.
All right, so at least 28 minutes of the tape, so that's really lovely. And of course you can hear it again on the YouTube channel. And so it's a great tape. It's great to listen to it again, because it's like it holds so much that you're dealing with in daily life and practical situations, while you have an opportunity that you didn't know about. And this sets the whole world free. That's so lovely. And you come in the realization that you are being sustained, like you're literally being sustained by the love of God. That is a given. That is where your peace is. So thank you so much for today, for being in this say Truth Unveiled, and hope to see you next week, just before Christmas, on the 22nd of December. And so I hope to see you then. Thank you for now, and